yesterday. Muster will stay number 1 on Monday. Chang can move up above Becker to number 4 if he now wins the tournament. Goran will stay at 6. But I tell you one thing, whatever happens in this match, Paul Haarhuis is not going to be ranked 68th in the world come Monday. The first of the semi-finals of the Newsweek Champions Cup. Goran Ivanisevic serving to Paul Haarhuis, who's the lady or gentleman with a huge orange umbrella. Must be a Dutch supporter, obviously, in that colour, just taking a seat behind Ivanisevic. Wind is suddenly getting up a bit. It tends to in the early afternoon, then dies away in the evening. It's a much hotter day today. On-court temperature is over 100 degrees, so we're up in the 30s. The shade temperature of middle 80s.
From a shot like this, you can really see the confidence of Ivanisevic. He doesn't really think, he just tees off on those.
Yes, because if you include the Grand Slam Cup, his last tournament of last year, which he won, and then the Hopman Cup, the exhibition, which he and Ivan Maioli won for Croatia, that's a heck of a record since the middle of December.
Paul's going to be very important to try to get back as many balls as he can, make Ivanisevic play, make him hit every shot, and try to recuperate his serve.
Yes, we'll have a word with Jaakko Elting about the tactics at this change of ends, because I know he had a sneak word with Paul and their mutual coach, Alex Reinders, before the match started. First double fault, and that, believe it or not, is only Goran's 5th double fault of the week. He's played one less match, of course, than Paul, having a bye in the first round. Paul's only served 3 doubles, so that's very miserly.
Oh, you can count another one right there.
And an immediate break point opportunity. Well, what a rally, and what a start for Haarhuis. A break of serve in the very first game of the match, having been 40-15 down. So wonderful start for your partner.
This is an excellent start. It's actually a great rally to start for a first game. And you can see both players in really good shape. And this rally is actually the play Paul wants. He's going to try to make Ivanisevic rally, keep the points as long as possible, Obviously, Ivanisevic's serve is very, very good, but he's quite predictable when he plays against Paul. He tries to go wide on the edge side, and he tries to go down the middle many times on deuce, and Paul knows it, obviously, because they played each other so often, and it gives him a little bit better chance to return that serve, and that's the total key for this match, get the ball back in play.
And when you have a winning record against one of the top players of 5-3, and you've won the last 3, then obviously you must go into a match like this full of confidence.
Yeah, it's funny, Paul, you know, he can be playing very bad, very poorly, but when he plays certain players he has a positive record against, he goes on the court with a lot of confidence, and it shows directly in his game. And you already saw actually this first game that Goran doesn't feel very comfortable when he has to rally against Paul. He is going for quite a lot on the second serve. We might see a few more double faults today, because he's going to try to hit that big serve, try to get the point very quickly. And this game is actually the perfect game for Paul.
Well, he's made the perfect start with the break. Now he's facing the sun, though. 1 love.
That's great tennis. You see, even if he's still trying to finish the point a little bit quicker than Paul, trying to go for the big shot, Paul counters very well on the backhand passing.
Six successive points now to Haarhuis. And 6 unforced errors from his opponent.
It just missed by a bit. Paul will also try to do a little bit more with second serve, because he knows Ivanisevic is going to step in on the second serve, try to get that high-paced game and try to attack Paul's second serve.
And just looking at the flags, because the wind has been swirling around a lot of the week, it seems that that far end you have the wind at your back. A little tentative on that one, snatched it a bit. A break back chance. No, he's put it wide. Oh dear. Well, you can see how tense Goran is right at the start.
Yeah. He would really like to break back at this game, just to stay in that first set.
Tried to steer it one-handed, whereas maybe if he'd played it with pace, 2 hands, he'd have made it.
And that is Haarhuis.
Now you could see again, Ivanisevic really stepping about a meter inside that baseline on the second serve and try to whack it very hard, very deep to put Paul under pressure straight away.
Lazy footwork. The ball was a little short, and Ivanisevic didn't move up to it and ended up playing it very low.
I think he didn't read it very well. I think he thought it was going to be a little bit longer. Well, that's what you need at a game point. Put in a first serve. Both players have been lacking first serve in that first game. Very low percentage, both under 50 actually. Ivanisevic had a poor 13% in the first game.
Yes, and we do mean 1-3. I wonder he's a little uptight at the moment. Love 2.
Love 2.
And just as we were saying that Paul Haarhuis would be full of confidence going into this match with that winning record, so Goran must be full of anxieties going into it.
His former coach Bob Brett used to say, when Goran comes to a tournament, he's not looking at a draw who he has to play, but first he's looking if Haarhuis is not on his side of the draw. And you can really see he's rushing it a bit in the beginning.
Denied the first ace by the trembler device, a lead cord. That's his 34th of the week. And again a net. Dana LaConto from Gadsden, Alabama, one of the most experienced officials, is in the chair for this one.
That's what he's best at.
122 miles an hour. Well, a little late the call, but Paul was already reacting to the lack of one.
Maybe we can see on the replay if the ball really was in or out. It was definitely a very late call. Still the point before.
Yes, they've shown us the wrong one. Sneaky.
He was just looking at the line.
So it's 30-40, and this is a point for the double break. Yet another let. Be wanting the net checked in a moment. That's the one thing I've been noticing, Jaco, as we look at the trembler device, that Ivanisevic is following the serve in a lot more this year.
Well, it has everything to do with confidence. You know, he's not the natural volleyer, but you know, when you're playing well and you're hitting those serves on great angles, you should come in. You know, it makes extra threat for your opponent.
And then Thomas.
Well, that's giving it away. And it's Paul Haarhuis who has a double break and a 3-love lead in the first set.
Scorsese comes a jewel beyond price.
Look at this place. It's made of money.
An epic story of greed.
I have to be able to trust you with my life.
Friendship.
Can I trust you?
And betrayal. Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and Sharon Stone nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actress.
I'll go to the police. I am not protecting you anymore. No!
Casino.
You're watching Eurosport's live coverage of semi-finals day at the Newsweek Champions Cup, and Paul Haarhuis, having already beaten 2 seeds, 2 men from the top 10. And Thomas Enquist and Pete Sampras has made a terrific start against Goran Ivanisevic. 3-love and serving. First set.
That was a silly solution for a low ball like that. Try to lob it over a guy 2 meters tall with long arm and a racket in his hands.
Yeah, 6'4", Goran, if we convert into feet and inches. Just needed to get the second one a bit deeper.
Yeah, it's tough. He's against the wind, so the ball will come a bit shorter. And this is what we're going to see probably the next few games. Goran is just trying to go for every shot. Nothing to lose anymore in that first set. He'll just go for it.
But at the moment he's making more unforced errors than he is winners. 14 unforced errors, 6 winners from Ivanisevic.
Yeah, he feels that when he's playing against Paul, he will have to go really close to the lines to be able to win the point directly. Most of the other ones are all coming back. That was lousy footwork there by Paul. Ball kind of drifts into his body. Should make at least 1-2 steps to the side to be able to have a good swing at the ball. And this way you can't get your arm out.
So 2 break-back points. Break points in every game so far.
That's good playing. This is really what Paul has been doing very well this week. When he has that short ball, he takes it very aggressively and follows up very well to the net and tries to get an easy finish.
And you don't get to be #1 in the world in doubles unless you can volley a bit.
No, that's for sure. They always were making jokes like, how can a guy without an overhead and a volley be #1 in the world? But there you see it again, how he really follows up well there on that forehand and opens up the court for that short cross backhand volley.
The answer, of course, he has a good partner.
Thank you.
Well, a long look at that. If it caught the line, it was the outside edge. Not sure that we're going to be able to tell from this replay. I don't Oh yes, well, in fairness, it looked in on the replay.
I thought it was good.
Yes.
Things are not going Ivanisevic's way. He's almost down 4-0, you know, has break points in both games.
Yes, he's had 4 break points now. First ace from Haarhuis, 116 miles an hour. And his 25th ace of the week. In singles, that is. So the big difference at the moment is that Haarhuis is winning all the points that really matter.
Yeah, he has been converting his break points and saving Goran's break points. And now it's really a good test case for Goran to see if he's in that great shape the last few months, if he can get out this one.
Yeah, it's a test of his temperament, certainly, and his conviction.
The few times Goran loses, it's usually not because of his tennis, it's usually because of his attitude and not wanting to fight for every point.
That's a classic serve and volley point.
Normally when you play an opponent, you talk to your coach about tactics on how to play, what am I going to do? I'm going to play serve and volley, stay back to his backhand. But when you play Goran, it's more like, you know, you have to try to break his mind. You're more playing on his mental strength than on his tennis qualities.
And as you were saying, that means get a lot of balls back and try and get him to make errors.
Exactly.
Well, they'll sign him up for Hajduk split, but not for Ajax.
Well, to tell you a little story, we played soccer with Goran many times. He's a very good friend of ours. And to tell you the truth, he hasn't won in soccer against us either. So I think he should just keep his racket in his hands.
But Ivanisevic has at least opened his account. But it's 4-1 to Paul Haarhuis in the opening set with 2 breaks of serve. We'll take a short commercial break and be right back live in Indian Wells.
My mother wanted me to have piano lessons. My teacher wanted me to become a lawyer. My wife wants me to stay at home. So, here I am. Mitsubishi Pajero, designed for the individual.
From the producers of Pulp Fiction comes a new comedy starring John Travolta.
Really? You know, sometimes you do your best work when you got a gun in your head.
John Travolta, Gene Hackman, Rene Russo, and Danny DeVito. Get Shorty.
So those are the statistics. Paul Haarhuis leading 4-1 first set, and you can see Ivanisevic's big weapon not working, and throughout the week he'd got 57% of first serves in, and all those unforced errors. I mean, that's just disastrous. 15 unforced errors in 5 games. That's 3 a game, so you're giving your opponent a 40-love start every game. Then it gets tough to win.
Yeah, that's for sure. The real difference is actually not so much on winning on each other's second serve, but still on first serve. Paul has been able to win 83% of his first serve points, and Goran only 67%.
And that's remarkably low for Ivanisevic.
That's always a nice solution for the crowd.
Fine if it comes off. Just occasionally if you get it wrong, you look a right old Charlie.
I happened to have a smash in my first doubles match yesterday, and I completely missed it. And then I ran back and I hit it, you know, almost like with my back to the net, and the people thought I did it for fun. And I just claimed I did, but it was a big miss. That was what it was.
Excellent crowd. Everybody's come back in now. A lot of them took a breather after the ladies' final. Get some liquid on board. It's very hot in the sun. Over 100 degrees, way up in the 30s Celsius. Well, that's the first really comfortable game of the match for either man. And the first time that Paul Haarhuis has held serve without facing break points.
Goran already tried to play a little bit of serve and volley on his own service game the game before. And this game he also tried to play chip and charge on the second serve he got. And he's really changing tactics a bit. He doesn't really know what to do.
Well, he missed Goran's head and the baseline. A little look behind from Goran saying, hey, you're supposed to be a friend of mine. Don't knock me out. Well ducked. Third ace. Well, I think Goran asking whether it was a net that time. We didn't hear any bleep. Sometimes we hear the bleep on our trembler device, in the umpire's chair. 30-15.
Another great return by Paul. You see again that Goran, even on the second serve, tried to come in, tried to play serve and volley.
Paul plays left court in your doubles partnership. Is that his strength, the backhand return?
That's it. That definitely is its strength, yes.
So a third double fault from Ivanisevic, and this is not only a point for the treble break, it's set point as well. Just loose ball behind Ivanisevic, cleared up now by the ball boy.
That's great playing by Goran, but Paul just showed him again that he will have to finish that point himself. Everything is going to come back. It's a great get.
So Goran importantly holds on to that service game. It's probably too late to salvage this set, but looking forward, he needed to win that one. 5-2 in the first.
Small country for a great holiday.
Kremliovskaya, vodka made with the finest grains and the purest spring water. It's good character-building stuff.
You're watching the first semi-final of the Newsweek Champions Cup with David Mercer and our special guest today, Jaakko Elsing, who's delighted that his doubles partner Paul Haarhuis has really started so well, serving with new balls at 5-2, and the wind really getting up at the moment, almost blowing us out of our commentary booth. So sorry if the wind's getting on our microphone. We are in the open air, so there's absolutely nothing we can do. Bit of nerves?
No, Paul has to do that so now and then. You cannot just put that ball in play, and you'll have to go a little bit for it, which automatically means you're going to hit a few more double faults.
Just his second. That's a good first serve, though.
15 love, you can afford to lose a point like that. Not when it's 15-30. Bit unlucky for even if he hit the tape, but otherwise there would be no chance for him to reach it anyways.
2 more set points. Terrific serving and a terrific set for Paul Haarhuis. Make 33 minutes.
Making the early break, holding on to it, struggling a little bit in the beginning, but playing two very strong service games at the end. And especially when you finish off a set like this with 3 big serves, that must have a good feeling to start that second set.
First set that Ivanisevic has lost this week. Remember, he's won his last 13 matches.
I know Paul will be very focused this game, this first game in second set. If he can get another break right there, that's mentally very important.
Good play from Ivanisevic, but again, he's having to play that one extra shot all the time. Not getting many free points.
He was already serving at a speed of 123 miles an hour. It's a good play by Paul just to come in. Goran hit a good shot there. You can see Paul doesn't try to give him as much angle when they're rallying from the baseline. He's going to put a lot. Yeah, there you see, it's a very tough shot. Paul's going to try to keep it in the middle a lot, so Goran cannot really make those angles on the forehand and backhand side. That's a great return.
Yeah, serve to my backhand at your peril is the message from that shot. Ivanisevic lost his first serve from 40-15 up. Oh, it's good play.
You can almost hear Paul think when they serve there to that backhand, it's like taking money to the bank.
Now that serve was 129 miles an hour. And what happened? It came back right at his toes. Break point. Ivanisevic not convinced.
You could see the point before that Goran was kind of looking at his coach, at his friend, and you know, what am I doing? I'm serving 129, comes back at my feet. What can I do? He's just playing well.
Vednar Martish, the coach. The body language is significant. Haarhuis marches to the chair, and Ivanisevic strolls, having flung his racket at the chair. 1-love, second set with the break.
Can I help you?
Thanks.
Oh, no problem.
It's quite a sporty car.
It's a diesel.
Yeah, and I suppose you're a Formula One racing driver.
Sure.
New in the C-Class, the C250 Turbo Diesel.
So those the first set statistics, and just look at that, 18 unforced errors, and you look at the Haarhuis column, better serving, more winners, far fewer errors. Not surprising he won the set 6-2. And now he's up a break. I don't know whether that young man is a Haarhuis or Ivanisevic supporter, but great to be able to see your heroes in the flesh. 1-love with the break. Yes, a man in torment.
And I think a man without strategy at the moment.
On the line.
Well, that's a strategy, hitting winners from all over the place.
Yes, I suppose that's still always the danger with Goran, because he can suddenly go berserk in terms of hitting winners from all over the place.
Exactly, he can just hit them at any time. That's also why it's pretty difficult still to play against Goran. You have to play controlled, not to make many errors, put the ball back in the court. But if you're too much waiting for the point and you're not aggressive enough, then you're going to lose also. So it's a very tough mixture.
It's solid play at the net.
There you see he has been playing at the net a few more times. Good footwork there, moving forward with the body, keep the racket in front.
Super serve. He's mixed it up very nicely, hasn't he? Staying back, coming forward.
Exactly, it's what you call controlled aggressiveness. If you're just too aggressive, it's not going to work. If you play too controlled, it's not going to work either.
couple of errors on the Haarhuis forehand in this game, and I suppose he will know how important it is psychologically with the vulnerability of Ivanisevic to emphasize the break and get off as he did in the first set to a good lead. Third ace.
I think that's a big relief there for Paul, just to win a point like that. You need some free points so now and then. Little twist. As you can see, Goran really did not expect Paul to play serve and volley there. He just put like a float return high in the middle, just expecting Paul to stay on the baseline and try to give it some length on the return.
So there's the 2-love lead.
That last shot, really, you can see that Paul is playing a lot in the middle of the court. Everything not more than about a meter away from the center mark, just to make sure that Goran doesn't have a lot of angles to work with. And this shot is no way you can go for a shot like that.
Really will be a test of this man's resolve now, I think. Ivanisevic, you can see. Look at those second serve points won. That's awful. And 68 for his first. That's very low for him too. But he's in a situation where in the past he sort of said, "Nice guy, I can't beat him and I'm going home."
That serve was actually 122 miles per hour wide.
Oh, that really was a must-win game for Ivanisevic. 2 breaks down in the second set. He was dead and buried, but it's 2-1.
I adore Paris. I feel good here. It's home. We deal in emotions. We help clients realize their dreams. Le Lièvre is a long-established French company. We manufacture furnishing fabrics of the highest quality. Le Lièvre and DHL work hand in hand. I'd say that DHL is virtually an integral part of Le Lièvre. Every day we send fabrics to Tokyo, Rio, New York. Clients won't wait. We send about 2,000 consignments a month with DHL. In fact, they carry our image worldwide. I never say no to my clients. Le Lièvre never says no. DHL never says no to me.
DHL, we keep your promises.
Nothing's impossible with DHL.
You're watching Eurosport's live coverage of the semi-finals of the Newsweek Champions Cup, the first of the Mercedes Super 9s. And of course the next is at Key Biscayne starting next Friday. And then we go back to Europe for Monte Carlo and Hamburg, the clay court season, which will continue in Rome. Then we come back across the Atlantic for Cincinnati and Toronto, and then after the US Open back to Europe for the indoors, the Stuttgart and Paris indoors, and after that, of course, we'll have the World Doubles and the ATP World Championship. The World Doubles being played the week before the singles final this year. There's some lovely hats around. You need a hat today, although neither of the players playing in hats. Haarhuis is set to the good and 2-1 and serving.
This is the most important moment of the match, I think. Ivanisevic is really at the moment where he can still try to get everything together, raise his level, try to beat Paul at this moment. I don't think if he does it here, he's going to do it at all.
Well, this time it's Haarhuis who's denied by the net cord, the trembler device.
There you can see his footwork's 2-3 steps better, quicker, aggressive. The players actually have mixed feelings about the trembler device at the net. Now there's nobody to curse at.
Oh, unbelievable. That is a great shot. To bring Ivanisevic to love 40.
That's a great pass, and there's not much Paul can do on that shot. He had a great volley. And although it's very difficult to go down love 40, you just have to accept it. But you see the effort there.
That's wide, and for the first time, Ivanisevic breaks serve. And now, maybe the match begins.
I don't think Paul can really blame himself this game. This Goran played 3 really good points, and now it's a matter for Paul just to stay focused, stay with your tactics. Just keep making those balls.
2-all then.
That's a good point to shake off that last game. I actually would love to see a replay on that point.
That's the line judge. He was going to get a mouthful from Ivanisevic until he called a little late. Yeah, sadly, we don't have the camera down that end, so can't really see the replays there.
It almost seemed like the linesman was reacting a bit to Goran's attitude.
There's no doubt that Ivanisevic in the last 2 games has really raised his standard of play very noticeably. Of course, we knew he was capable of doing so. It's going to be wide. And there's a completely different complexion about the match now, because Ivanisevic has come from 2-love down to lead 3-2.
Geld haben ist eine Sache, rankommen eine andere. Cashbar 24, 24 Stunden am Tag, 7 Tage die Woche. Ihr Geld wird ungeahnte Energien entwickeln. Cashbar 24 bietet tolle Zinsen ab der 1. Mark. An Ihr Geld können Sie jederzeit ran. Rufen Sie jetzt an 0183 24 0000. Cashbar 24, tolle Zinsen ab der 1. Mark. Ihr Geld bleibt jederzeit verfügbar. Ihre persönliche Unabhängigkeitserklärung Bank 24. Bestellen Sie jetzt den Katalog.
It's been a long trek, but the cross-country World Cup has made it to its final destination, Holmenkollen, Norway. Manuela Di Centa is on the verge of the women's world title, while all Norway awaits the classic showdown between Daly and Smirnov in the 50 kilometers. This program is brought to you on Eurosport by Warsteiner, partner in the Eurosport team. The cross-country ski World Cup final, Sunday 10 a.m., Monday 10:30 a.m. on Eurosport.
Welcome once again. David Mercer and Jaco Elting here. Delighted to have your company on Saturday night, Saturday afternoon here, 10 to 3 on a glorious day in Indian Wells. Not a cloud in the sky, the Santa Rosa Mountains glistening in the sunshine, the snow on the top. Haarhuis 2-3, having been 2-love. A few good first serves like that, just what he needs.
Paul tried to come in there a little bit earlier and tried to hit a volley there, but Goran played it back so wonderfully and low, as you can see there, that he had to let it bounce, and at that time he was out of position.
Oh, that's a fine shot.
Paul's nickname on the tour was the February man, because he always made so many points in February. This time he didn't do so well. He lost about 600-700 points, and now he's the March man, I think.
Well, the talent's calendar has shifted back a week, so that's fair enough this year.
He's getting a little bit older, so the months get a little further away.
He's 30 now. That's never going to make it. Looking up at the wind, but against the wind, you could really hit those lobs from this end. Wind blowing straight into our faces in the commentary box. There we are.
Beautiful stadium.
We're on the top there. Well, that steadied the ship.
Back at 3-0. It's also our first visit here to Indian Wells, and it's really beautiful to see how many people come also during the day. Not only the night matches are sold out, and also the outside courts when you play at the clubhouse, it's just full all the time.
Yes, the clubhouse court is the equivalent of, say, Wimbledon's #1 court, the second court. 11,500 this stadium court holds, and not too many empty seats.
That's a great volley. That's a secret for the volley. Lots of people tend to do too much with the racket. It's just a matter of moving your feet well and just put your body weight through the ball.
On the line, nothing you can do about that. As you mentioning, it's your first time here. Paul, in his press conference yesterday, was saying that really he didn't decide until the last minute to come. He was thinking of trying to get out of playing the tournament, but then lost early singles and doubles last week in Rotterdam. I don't suppose he regrets coming now.
No, I don't think so. We actually had the Indian Wells filled out as one of our designated tournaments. We have to play 11 of those on the ATP Tour if you're ranked in top 50. And to tell you the truth, we forgot we had it on the list.
Well, some sensational winners from Ivanisevic now. Two of these running forehands.
That's an amazing angle. And you can still hit it with that speed at the highest part over the net, out of position. Normally you would say that's a 50-50 shot, but I would call it a 20-80 shot.
And if you don't make it, if your opponent can get to it, you're lost, because there's no way of recovering. Just long.
Paul did have a few chances already this game. Point at last 15, had a chance to at least play the ball a little bit deeper in the court. Goran makes this great shot point before, and easy error now. And a big ace on top of it.
Fourth ace at 122 miles an hour. And certainly now we have a match on our hands. 4-3, Ivanisevic leads in the second set. Haarhuis by 1 set to love.
Kremliovskaya, vodka made with the finest grains and the purest spring water. It's good character-building stuff.
Monday morning on Eurosport, the final of the Nordic Combined World Cup from Holmenkollen, Norway. Local hero Knut Tore Appland is just a jump and a ski race away from the 1996 title. There's no better place to win it, but he still has to hold off the Japanese challenge. This program is brought to you on Eurosport in association with Warsteiner, partner in the Eurosport team. The Nordic Combined World Cup final from Holmenkollen, Monday 11:30 a.m. on Eurosport.
We're on serve, second set.
That's textbook play. Although this ball doesn't come over, you can see Paul really aggressive still, awaiting this shot. Even when it comes over, he's there, he's prepared, he's ready, and that shows that he's feeling really well.
Fourth ace. So he's matching Ivanisevic 4-all. Nothing like a love service game to boost your confidence. Gonna get a change of balls. Will Paul worry about that? Ivanisevic with old balls is a fairly fearsome sight, but with new ones.
Yeah, it always has two thoughts to it. The serve is going to go faster, that for sure. But on the other hand, players also need 1 or 2 points to get adjusted to it, which means you might miss that first serve where you have a chance to play that second serve. So you never know.
Well, it might have been a fraction late, but I think it was well out, Goran.
Well, for sure, she can look at the mark with the serve that speed and that hard. There will be a mark on the court.
This is Goran's reaction.
These are silly plays by Paul. There's no need to go for a shot like that and to take that much risk at this moment.
Nope, just wide. Good low volley. Ivanisevic, you can see that Haarhuis was expecting the drop volley, was moving forward for it.
Yeah, Paul had a very good passing underneath the net, underneath the tape, and you should always try to step in one or two steps.
More reminiscent of the rallies in the first part of the match.
Exactly, and Paul should have tried to get this kind of point, also the first point of the game. That looked wide to me. You can see Paul there looking at the linesman.
That one was barely inside the baseline.
I hope Paul is feeling physically strong enough to maintain this speed of footwork. Obviously, he has to prepare very well for every shot to stay in the rally with Ivanisevic, because the balls do come faster now and come a little bit harder.
5-4, Ivanisevic on serve.
When I was 12 years old, I wanted to be a boxer. Theophil Stevenson was my hero. Now he's like a mirror for me. When I look in this mirror, I know what kind of shape I'm in. I remember when Teofilo was the best in the world and wouldn't take big money to train professionals. With the spirit of Teofilo in me, I now carry the hopes of the Cuban people to Atlanta.
The 1996 Ski Jumping World Cup is in Norway. Can the Flying Finns stop Austria's Andy Goldberger from retaining his title? And what can the Norwegians do on the mythical hill at Holmenkollen? This program is brought to you on Eurosport in association with Warsteiner, partner in the Eurosport team. The Ski Jumping World Cup final from Holmenkollen, tomorrow 10:30 p.m. on Eurosport.
So Paul Haarhuis must now serve at 4-5 to stay in the second set. Just long.
How can I miss that ball?
Searching for a mark. We ought to lend him a magnifying glass. Does it leave quite a mark, this court?
It does, yes. Especially on a first serve like that, you can really see the mark. Obviously, the umpires can go with those kind of marks on the hard courts. They cannot decide on it, but as a player, you know where it bounces. You can see it.
It was a fifth ace, and Ivanisevic has only served 4.
And an important ace to go from 15 love to 30 love in a game like this. It's a very big point. There you see twice Paul crammed up on the forehand side, where Goran unexpectedly puts a deep return deep in the court, and Paul's just not quickly enough to away with his feet just to give himself some space to hit that forehand.
Played 9 sets of tennis yesterday.
Yeah.
3 in singles, 6 in doubles did Haarhuis.
I hope it's just because he's surprised that the ball just came back like that, and instead of his physical shape. That's a sigh of relief they have from Paul, I think, not having to work for that point.
So what time did you finish last night? About 10:30?
Yeah, I think it was around 10ish when we finished, and Paul only had an hour and 15 break from his singles. Then we played 7-6 in the third and an hour and 15 after the next match to go again. A lot of tennis.
You know, one of the jets on its way no doubt to Los Angeles, I suspect, overhead.
So the last few games, Goran is really putting in that first serve much more often, and you can see Paul cannot do more than just block that serve, and instead of stepping in on it.
So a love game for Goran, and he's ahead 6-5 on serve, second set.
Eddie, come on.
Take me to the Hilton.
So this match that for a long time was being totally dominated by Paul Haarhuis now fascinatingly poised. He's serving at 5-6, trying to force the tiebreak.
Paul has been putting in lots of first serve. He's at 81% first serves in this set, and that's tremendously high, which will give him a total average about 70 to 75%. Well, both players, I think they already have the tiebreak in mind since it was 4-all, and they're winning the games very easy, and it's going to be that 1 or 2 points is going to decide this set.
Yep, back-to-back love games. And indeed in the last 7 games, we've only had 6 points against the serves, and there's the tiebreak record. Ivanisevic, that's a little impressive, 14-3.
Obviously he has such a good record because he doesn't lose many points on his serve. If he's serving well, he's tough to break.
And that's a huge forehand.
And also a huge statement for the first point of a tiebreak. I don't think Paul wants to go 3 sets. He'll be really looking for this tiebreak.
Solid play.
Yeah, that's... No, he got away quite luckily, actually, because the first volley was not good enough. Ivanisevic really had a chance there to pass him, and quite honest, I think this passing shot is quite poorly, right at Paul in the center of the court.
The center theory giving Ivanisevic no angles.
Yep, this is the Paul Haarhuis rally.
There's a mini break. 3-1 lead.
Paul will be a little bit tentative there. He'll be a bit nervous. He knows it's very important, this tiebreak, and he's really looking for every point, and this mistake is quite costly.
Keeps getting those first serves in, though. 81% of first serves in this set. 4-2 lead as he changes ends. I suppose the only downside of this change of ends, Jaco, is that Paul's going to the sunny end.
Well, in a matter of fact, he doesn't really mind. When we play doubles, we don't look so much with the wind or if you have a favorite side. Paul always serves against the sun when we play doubles, so he's used to it. His ball toss is quite straight in front, so if the sun is a little bit lower or to the right, he's not really bothered by it. As you can see, he puts another great first serve. That's really what he needs at this moment, is his first serve. And try to sneak one of those two right here. 5-2 up.
2 points away from a Super 9 final. Oof, well, you don't often hear Ivanisevic being foot faulted. It was a fault anyway. Probably a good job for the line judge.
Oy, oy, oy.
So what would have happened there?
I don't know what Paul had in mind there, but I know he wanted to take it aggressively, but this was a poor miss.
Fifth ace from Ivanisevic, 120 miles an hour, but now then crunch time.
Somehow, you know, an ace like this is coming at a point like that. If Paul just has an opportunity, misses, you always know he's going to play a good point after that. And he's going to put you right there. You have to win both.
Well, for club hackers like me, it's encouraging that even the top players like yourselves can get nervous in these situations.
Yeah, Paul definitely is nervous. He has never reached a final of a Super 9, so... Now you can see Ivanisevic is doing what Paul has been doing. He just puts the serve back in the court and just hangs on in that rally, puts the ball back in play, and Paul's making the unforced error now.
So that's 4 points in a row for Ivanisevic, and from 2-5 down, it's 6-5 up And set point. Well, this is a foot fault on an ace on set point. The volcano could be about to erupt.
Well, I think it has all to do with the outcome of this point eventually. It was a very quick call also by that linesman. It's not that he saw any result of the ball. He just saw it and he called.
So it is second serve. Yeah. Careful. Well done, and Leconto turning what we would say, Jaco, a Nelsonian ear, thinking of Lord Nelson and blind in one eye.
There's not much he can do either. I mean, Goran can get angry with him, but the linesman makes the call, and right. Dana cannot change it.
So it's 6-all.
Paul is really having a lucky break here because, first of all, obviously that serve, but then 2 times he puts those 3-4 balls so short inside that service line, and even he gives Ivanisevic a chance to go for that winner. Luckily for Paul that Ivanisevic first missed the tape, and the second one he just missed by 2 inches wide.
And this now is match point. He's done it.
That's an unbelievable ending of this tiebreak.
Yes, one feels a little bit for Goran. Obviously high controversy, the foot fault denying him the ace on set point to him. He's getting the bird now, but Paul Haarhuis has taken full advantage of his opportunities, and that's a wonderful win for him. 6-2, 7-6 in an hour and 18 minutes.